it. I mean, I assume you guys don't do custom URLs.
No, we can do custom URLs. I haven't yet, but.
I mean,
But as long as you got
benefit to having some CALI branded involved.
well, have a little logo that turns up on the bottom of everything, whether you want it to.
Right.
But other than that, it's it's tiny and but there aren't any ads and there's not
Yeah. I mean, but if he wants to talk about it, I get that. So if this is operating, if you're not agreeing with that, he might be okay with writing it for an expert. He's no designer, just a picture of that. I tried to persuade him into doing a custom header, and he's like, "No, I want it to look like a work." What did he say? Like a flyer. I want it to look like a flyer. Oh, really? Okay, that's your blog. Not what I would suggest,
But there you go.
Yeah. Keep it simple. That's what you want.
So
Okay, I think we'll get started. It looks like it's 4 o'clock. We'll see. Maybe we'll get done early and get on the first bus back. My name's Elmer Masters. I'm the Director of Internet Development for CALI. Okay, know almost everybody here. How y'all doing?
all right.
We're going to take a look at the new version of Classcaster today. This is live now, so if you actually go to create a new Classcaster blog, it sends you here. We won't even look at the old stuff, but I know I see old site people here, so it's okay. We're gonna move them over, and the old ones will stay available and all that sort of stuff. So I'm not pulling the plug on anything. We're just doing some new stuff. So, but I'll talk about that a little bit more. Classcaster is CALI's podcasting and blogging platform. We originally designed it as a pod. The Classcaster part is, we originally wanted to do focus on podcasting of courses. So the original Classcaster is designed with podcasting in mind, and we can keep those features here. And we've also had some people who've been just using it for blogging, which is fine because it's based on blogging software. So that's also here. The Classcaster, it turns out, is 5 years old. Who knew, right? So, because it seems like only yesterday. But in the past 5 years, we've managed to amass somewhere just over 30,000 hours of recorded lectures from law professors. Their recorded lectures, their course summaries, their little audio note sorts of things. There's a lot of stuff in there, and we've had several hundred blogs. We currently have this semester there were about 24 active blogs or so, and we've moved a few folks over to the new format early this semester to sort of give it get some tire kicking going, so we hope with the new version, because the old version, it's old. I mean, it's really old now. The software is not even supported anymore, and it's kind of glitchy, and some stuff never really quite worked right. So we're moving the whole thing to WordPress, and I thought I was getting ahead of the curve here by going, WordPress is all new, but last week WordPress upgraded itself. So it's already old. So this is the old new old Classcaster, and the new Classcaster will probably be out in a couple of weeks, but it'll look the same. The big change in the new version is that this is actually a special version of Classcaster that's designed to support multiple blogs and multiple users, which wasn't a feature of the regular WordPress software that powers the new Classcaster. But the newest version of WordPress actually folds that extension into the main part of WordPress. So even if you have like a WordPress, even if you're running your own WordPress software, you can now get multi-user support for it if you do the upgrade to 3.0.
And if your server supports it.
And if your server supports it.
Well, if you're doing if you're like some of the ISPs and things aren't doing it, and we're using a Windows IIS platform, and it's not entirely compatible that we found yet.
See, there you go. See, I'm just all about Apache and Linux and MySQL, and I know, I'm sorry, and PHP. So like that stuff just works. Right. I actually have my personal WordPress blog is on GoDaddy, and I know they aren't upgrading to 3.0 yet. So, although I could force it to happen.
If you do want to test out 3.0, though, that's what WordPress.com is using, and it's free. If you just want to see what the features are different, you don't have to install it anymore.
Right. So this is the new Classcaster. The address has changed, so it's no longer classcaster.org. It's classcaster.net. We did that so that we can preserve the old one and keep those running. And we have this shiny new home page, so that with all kinds of spiffy features and little doodads and stuff, and some of which haven't been quite totally filled out yet, including news from CALI and the latest posts from. These are actually blogs that are currently on. Later we'll be looking at some of them, including the Cleveland Marshall Law Library blog, which Sue does over there, because she's been doing a lot, and we'll actually take a look at some of the blogs that they've set up, the folks at Elon have set up, because they're actually using some of the really interesting features of WordPress with the plugins. One of the advantages, has anybody here done anything with like WordPress.com or WordPress blogs at all? Okay, just a couple of people. One of the advantages over like WordPress.com, for example, is the fact that like you can call me up and I can add the plugins you're looking for, as opposed to WordPress, which sort of you get what you get. And I've actually tried to add in a bunch of plugins, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But let's we can look at exactly how easy it is to create a blog. All you need is your CALI account. And since you're here, that means you're registered for the conference, which means you have a CALI account. So if you click on the create a blog, you can enter your username, and we'll use this made up one. Because the last thing we need is yet another Elmer blow-up. Yeah, feel free to play along at home if you like. This tells me, actually I've been here before with this account, so it tells me I already have blogs. But that's okay, I can make some more. Not a problem, we're not putting any kind of limit. So the first thing I want to do is give it a domain name. Right? So right now, anything you put in here is classcaster.net. We will be adding in support for, if you have control, the ability to fiddle with your university's DNS records, which some of you might. We can work out some domain stuff so that the blog could be Rutgers, some blog, Rutgers.edu would get like directly here. We do have that capability. But we'll call this one yet another faculty blog. And then we can give it a title. Yet another faculty blog. And then we'll actually turn it. And then you can decide whether or not you want it to show up. And this is we can switch this later. So when you're putting stuff together, you may want to hide it from the listings until you're like ready to go public with it. So you can do that here. We'll leave it. Well, actually, well, yeah. Still want to. And then we'll click that button. There you go. So. And basically that did it. Now what you get is an email saying, hey, you created this blog. So, and that goes to the account, the email that's associated with your account. Also, I get an email so that I can, you know, it's funny, as an aside, people keep IMing me like they think I'm actually going to have my main screen on the projector. I mean, give me some credit, right? So, I mean, that's a rookie mistake, especially with some of the people I know. So we're basically that set up that blog, and now we can click on any one of these links here. And it will take us to that blog. And as you can see, we have this amazingly stunning theme, which is just lovely. And the CALI logo. You cannot make the CALI logo go away. Just as a note, yeah. But that's like automatically embedded in all the stuff. That's just, you know, it's one of those things. It's actually the only thing that we do. Other than that, you've got control over everything. About the blog. I just want to let people know about that because sometimes they wonder. So you can see this is sort of the basic the basic thing. We give you a link back to CALI and WordPress. This is all configurable, and then basically, and you're already logged in and stuff, so you're all set. So now you have this site and say, ooh, that's really nice. So what can I do? Well, you start by clicking on Site Admin, which takes you to this nifty little dashboard. Okay, so this basically tells you everything you need to know about your blog in sort of, well, at a glance, right? You have one post, there's one page, there's 2 categories, there are no tags, there's your theme. You know, the first thing that yes?
You can also, if these boxes are not things you ever use ever again, you can turn them off under screen options.
Yes, under screen options, you can get rid of all this stuff if you really want to go for something even simpler. And you can actually bring them back later if you go, oops, I didn't really want those to go away. The first thing that people like to do is, at least most people I know, they want a different theme, right? I want mine to look different. So we've got an array of themes here that allow varying amounts of customization and such. Let's try something different. Let's try. Well, one thing you can do is you can actually get a preview. So this will give you an idea. So this is your blog, okay? And this is how it would look if you use this theme, okay? So this one gives you like 4 columns, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. And then somewhere there should be a button that says cancel this. I might miss all the evidence. Because so you can actually preview themes. There are several pages of themes. I have many more themes that I haven't activated yet, mostly because I don't know. Nobody said, "Well, I didn't really see anything that I really liked. What else you got?" But we can do that. Also, there are a lot of WordPress themes in the wild, or you can create your own. And if you find something you like, you want to use, let me know. We can load it up. I'm very flexible like that. Well, let's try my blog philosophy. So we'll click activate, and so now we've got, that's our theme. And then we can do things with the theme, like you can click on widgets. There's actually one very important widget that you want to make sure you have, and that's the meta widget. It doesn't, in some themes it's there automatically, but not in all of them. The meta widget has that little login box and stuff, so you actually need to have it, or else you're going to have trouble logging in. You have to go back to classcaster.net and log in and then come back in. So we're just going to, we'll save that in sidebar 1. Now if we go back and look at the so now that's what it looks like. Okay. So, yes?
I'm sorry. Where was the link to get to the widgets?
It should be directly below in the admin.
Yeah.
It should be directly below. Not every theme is going to have widgets. But it should be directly below appearance, and then it should be themes and widgets. There may be other things here too, because some themes have more settings. So in some themes you can have a custom header if you want to add your own logo. Some themes have the ability to change colors. On some of them you can, there are like specific boxes that you can add text to. There's a lot of flexibility here. You'll notice that some things like RSS feeds are included automatically in the theme, so you can actually go back, and that allows people to sort of follow your blog and that kind of thing. Okay. Now, once you've picked the theme, there are a couple other things you can do, that you may want to take a look at before you start, writing away. Like, you probably don't want it, you don't want to be just another CALI blog, right? There's tons of those. No, you don't want to be just another CALI blog. No, you want to be, you want to be just another faculty blog. So, and you can put anything in there, that you'd like. You can, if you want to change your email address here, you can. This doesn't affect your CALI account, but if you want the email, but this email address does come from your CALI account. So maybe if if you want to use, if you want the email with the blog to go to another account, like say for example you're setting one up for the IT department, and you want the email address to go to help@yourschool.edu, you can put that in here, and that'll direct that email and where it needs to go. Okay. You can set your time zone, in case you happen to be not in New York. You can pick your date format, so you can kind of confuse people about exactly when it is. And you can decide if you need to start your week on Wednesday. You can do that. You can make all those little changes here. And then always remember, of course, to click the Save Changes button, and it'll tell you that the settings have been saved. And then there are some things about writing. We haven't actually looked at that yet. There's like there's a box, and categories and that sort of stuff. There's also the stuff for remote publishing. This sort of thing will actually allow you to do stuff like post to your blog from Word, for example. So there's actually a function inside of Word, and please don't ask me to explain it exactly because I haven't looked at it in a while, but I know it's still there. There's actually a way that you can actually tell Word to publish whatever it is you're writing to your blog. And if you check this box under XML RPC, that'll allow that to happen. You can also do it with Google Docs. I don't know what else. Open Office, I think, does it too. I know. Wow. But a lot of so there are other things if you want to sort of write out, not in the little box that we have. Also, you can make the box a little bit bigger. 10 lines, maybe 10 lines isn't enough. You can go with 25. You can get smiley faces because that's important, especially in legal scholarship. Because I think that's what law review articles could use. More smiley faces. Actually, that's not necessarily a bad idea.
And for what it's worth, you don't have to do complicated stuff with
No,
Word.
no.
If you're writing in Word, and I've got professors who are doing this, they're really comfortable with the basic go in, log in, open up a new post. Because there is, if you turn on kind of advanced buttons, you can see a paste from Word, and that's good enough for them. They don't need to do programming.
Yeah. And then you can look at the way that what gets on the front page, and then again this gets a little complicated. Most blogs will just show you your latest posts, and if you want to do something else, you can do that here. So you can create like sort of a static page. If you want to have if you want to do maybe you want the front page. We'll use the IT help blog, right? So maybe you want the front page to be more like maybe like a directory of who to call, right? And then maybe blog posts at the bottom. So you can put that sort of stuff together here also. One important thing is comments, and whether or not you're going to allow other blogs to come in, other blogs to connect to your allow. There's a thing called ping, which is kind of trackback, which if another blog links to your blog, they can kind of let each other know. That makes some people don't like it, some people do. You can adjust that. You can also, other things that you can do here is in terms of controlling, if you decide that you only want folks who to be registered and logged into comments. So say you're building a class blog and you only want students from your class to comment. One way to start setting that up is here. That's actually a little bit more complicated, but basically it would require people to use their CALI user ID and password before they would be allowed to post comments to the blog. So that helps with spam. Because the old Classcaster was kind of a spam magnet. You can close comments, and there are a number of other options here, including getting email and setting moderation. If you're going to be uploading media, which will allow you to do, this gives you some ability to deal with this automatic. This gives you the ability to try and insert, deal with pictures. And if you turn on auto embeds, this is kind of cool. If you turn this on and then you type in like a YouTube URL, it'll embed that URL into your post automatically. So if you're doing a lot of media stuff, or if you think that might be handy, you can turn that on. Okay, privacy. This is where you can turn on, some different stuff about whether or not you want, search engines and stuff to crawl. Permalinks. You pretty much don't want to mess with this because if you do, you can actually mess up the whole sort of things about your blog. So this one's kind of, only if you know what you're doing. You can also hit the delete my blog permanently button. So if you decide you really want out and you want to make all your stuff go away, this will do that. There's external database settings. Do not, under any circumstances, touch this. It has to be there because we're authenticating against the CALI website. But you should monkey with it, or else you'll break the ability to authenticate, and then you have to call me, and I might make fun of you.
This is mine.
Well, something might get me in a good mood. There are also some tools available. For example, I like Press This, which lets you put a little bookmarklet at the top of your browser, so that if you're on a page and you want to write a blog post about it, you can click that, and it'll grab the URL of the page and some basic information, and put that right in your and it'll open up an edit window, pop up, and you'll be able to just blog about whatever page you're on. Okay. There are import and export tools. You can actually import stuff. If you have another blog, these actually work. This is actually what LifeType was before it changed. That doesn't work quite right yet, so don't try and import on your own. Actually, if you need to import, let me know, and I'll help you out with it. But as you can see, you can import from quite a number of existing blog systems. And I've actually successfully done it from Blogger, from Movable Type and TypePad, from other WordPress blogs, and semi-successfully from the old version. There's a couple of, I'm working on that so that people will be able to move their old blogs into the old Classcaster blogs into the new system. And by the same token, if you decide you would like to leave us, which is okay, you can kick out a file, which can then be imported into other things. Okay, and it works really well if you want to move to another WordPress blog. So, for example, say you start here in Classcaster and you like it a lot, and you go and talk to your IT people, and they decide that they want to have WordPress, running locally so that you can share it with everybody, and you can do a lot of branding and that sort of stuff, and have better control over it. You can then move your blog from here to there. That's okay. Won't make me mad. We want more people using this stuff. So, that's all good stuff. This will show you users. Now, users are interesting because you can't add, and Sue has to pay attention because she knows how this works, roughly speaking, I think. Yeah, in case I get it wrong, because I haven't explained it to anybody since I sorted it out with her. What happens is that you can't add, you can view users here, but you can't add them directly. If you want to have people subscribe to your blog as a user, so say you want students to be able to be part of the blog, what they need to do is they need to go to the blog homepage, which in this case would be yet another facultyblog.classcaster.net, and log in there with their Classcaster credentials, okay, or with their CALI credentials rather, which will create a user in Classcaster, and then they'll turn up on this list, okay, and then once they're on this list, you can do things like give them a different role, okay. So you could say, well, they're just subscribers, which is actually what they start out as. Or you could say, you could do things like have your class log into the blog, and then maybe make for the first 2 weeks you want 3 people to be contributing to the blog, so you can make them authors for 3 weeks, and then take them away, and then make another group authors for 3 weeks, and then that way you can control who's adding content to the blog as you kind of go through, but everybody gets to see it. Okay, and then there's also your own profile, so you can go in and do some. go in and do some things, like fill out your name and a different nickname. You can change that. So if you don't, and actually you can change you can't change your username, but you can change your nickname, and that'll affect what shows up on, underneath the post. Because yes, I think it will display your email address. If your email address is left in your nickname, so you may want to change that. Okay, and then there's a whole mess of plugins. And these do a lot of different things. And they allow you to actually add a lot of flexibility to the blog. Including there's ways that people can post stuff to Twitter and Facebook directly. There's a calendar plugin, which gives you like an event calendar that you can do, and I'll show you an example of that. There's the Comment Press plugin, which goes with the Comment Press theme, which allows you to create a blog where you can actually comment on stuff at the paragraph level. So you could actually go through whatever's posted. It could be a short blog post, it could be a longer work like a book, and people can comment at the paragraph level, and it tracks that, so you can use that to do all kinds of interesting things. You can have contact forms. There's a chat plugin that allows you to have a little chat room associated with your blog. PodPress is, we're actually going to activate this one because PodPress allows you to, gives you a whole suite of tools for dealing with podcasting, including, but not limited to, automatically sending stuff to iTunes. Okay, so just like the old Classcaster, which allowed you to submit your material to iTunes where folks could get at it, you'll be able to do that with this version also. Okay. There are polls. There are things for dealing with Twitter. There are things for dealing with Facebook. There are things to handle video displays. There is a forum plugin if you want to have a discussion forum, sort of bulletin board kind of thing on your blog. You can have that here. And then there's the iPhone theme, which, if activated, allows you to use your iPhone to look at the blog in like a really nice sort of iPhone, really nice format. And again, there's kind of no limit to the plugins that we can have. These are the ones that are active site-wide right now. If there's something you want to do and you don't, the feature isn't here, there's probably a plugin for it. And if there's one that actually, that works and doesn't conflict with what we're doing, we can certainly, we'll certainly add it. Okay. So, and then you'll notice that when I activated PodPress, by the way, I got a new addition to the menu that actually gives me some stuff, and this shows me what my iTunes page would look like, for example. And then I can go through here and it tells you how to get how to set stuff up, and you can add your own logos and that sort of stuff. I'm not going to go into this in detail. But this does a lot of great stuff, so that it really gives you a lot of control over how you publish your podcast. So if you're doing podcasting, this is a great tool. We'll take a quick look at because we have a podcasting blog on too. So now we're all set up. So we want to do a post. Took a while, but we're good. So we click on. We're going to click on Add New. There's also a button up here in case you've exercised the screen option to make all that go away. And this is the simplified button bar. But basically, I made this a little bit bigger. You know, you can just you can just start typing, and then you can just you can carry on. You know, it gives you. I mean, if you want to, you know, so inclined, you can get in and actually do work in the actual HTML as opposed to the visual editor. You can insert images and video and audio and other media directly from here also. You can add categories, and you can add more categories if you want to do that. It auto saves drafts, so if the browser shuts down or whatever, you know, you can come back to this as a draft. You can add tags. Now the tags are different than the categories. The tags are sort of freehand and you know, and sort of, you know, descriptive terms you might add. The categories are sort of, you know, bigger containers for holding stuff. And then when you're all done, you just hit the publish button.
The other thing that's really nice with the categories is you can do hierarchical structure.
Yes.
So if you're doing groups of topics and you want to kind of narrow it down, that's really, really helpful.
Right. So if we wanted to add, right. So if we,
it's hard to see with a blank one, but we've used it to do kind of a table of contents, for instance.
Right, so I can say I want to add a category under podcasts. So I can say class lectures. Right, so now you have that. So there's my podcast, there's class lectures, and there could be class notes. And then you just click the publish button. Now, and then we can actually go right, there's class notes. Start typing here, and that's the category. There are no comments anymore. Now the thing is that you know, if you go, you know, yikes, I didn't mean to publish that. You can alter the status of it. I wish I remembered where.
Under edit, under the publish section over here.
Oh.
You've got it published.
I'm sorry, yeah, because I'm looking at it askew.
Could you also use move to the trash?
You could move to the trash, yes. But there is one thing to keep in mind. Although you can change the status here. So let's set this back to draft. You can change the status here. Once you publish it, it goes out in the feed. And if somebody has clicked on that feed right away, they may have already seen it. So now they won't be able to get to it. So if they didn't do it like right away, and then of course you have to do update. And that does it. Now you can actually set up little sort of workflow things. So you can set something as pending review, and then have like somebody who has a role of editor, whose job it is to look at everything marked pending review and decide whether or not it needs to, whether it's publishable or whether changes need to be made or whatever that is. So you can do that sort of stuff too. The move to trash used to be a delete button in older versions of WordPress, but they kind of got tired of listening to people complain about what happened to the post that didn't actually mean to delete. So now what happens when you do move to trash, you get an undo. So you can it actually just marks it as trash. It doesn't display it, but oh, we forgot to give it a title. So there it is, and then we can actually delete it permanently from here, or we can restore it. Okay, and I can't believe I forgot to give it a title. Save draft. Okay, so so basically that's how you do posts. You can also do pages, which are a little bit different. A page is generally a little bit lengthier than just a post, and it gets a it actually gets a URL around it, so that you can actually create a page called like the about actually I think there is an about. Is there an about page? Yeah, there is an about page. Okay, so there's a page called about, and then that's what this is. You could add a new page called contact. Okay, and then say this is a contact page. And we're just going to step up right here so that I make sure I'm not forgetting. And you can actually create. You can give it parents, so that if you want to have sort of structure to the pages, you can do that, or you can just leave it at the top level. And then what happens with when I publish pages. See, pages don't show up here because that's just posts, but they do show up in the menu unless you actually make them a child or something. You can also, there's an option in there somewhere about not having them on the menu, but generally you're going to make pages and they'll show up on the menu, so that you can, so you might not, because there are certain things like if you have the forum. If you have the forum module turned on, for example, you add a page called forums, and you put a little token in it that the instructions tell you exactly how to do, and then that creates the forums page for you also.
That's something that, although you haven't upgraded to the latest version, the latest version gives an option where you can create exactly what you want to be on the menu depending on your theme. So our school is interested in that because we could have a home button that goes back to like our library or something like that. Like you could do external links and not just the pages.
Right.
And
Now some of
and
some of the themes actually give you more control over the menu, so that you can actually go in and adjust where the menu goes. So that's part of sort of selecting the theme. Sometimes you have to kind of go through the themes and find one that has the options that you would really be looking for. So let's. Any questions so far? I just want to take a quick look at a couple of our existing blogs. We're going to.
One thing I mentioned, I picked up a book that covers a lot of the same things you're doing. If someone wants to sit down and read through it or pass it off to someone else, and it's called Building a WordPress Blog People Want to Read, and it has a lot of these exact things that he's showing you here with explanations on really nitpicky stuff of why people use these settings. It's very accessible, so we've used it to hand it off to people who just want to research on their own. Okay,
I think Emily, you should be able to put. Could you put that in the comments on this session?
Sure.
Yes, and that'll be there. Because I've used a couple of. No, actually, I haven't really looked at any WordPress books in a while. Now I'm up to 29 blogs. So we can take a look at the list of blogs. Lots of them have come up lately. Let's take a look at. This is actually my favorite blog. This is the Cleveland Marshall Law Library blog, and they have lots of stuff. they have a link to their old blog, which is still on the original Classcaster site, which we will be moving this summer. They have the ability, we can share stuff on Facebook and Twitter and some other networks. So you can email it to a friend, or you can bookmark it in your browser so that if you want to sort of keep track of the posts. You can and you can see they've done some customization of the blog here. Okay. They have the tag cloud, so this is their tags. So you can see what sort of the kind of top stuff. CALI turns up a lot. I think that's coincidental. There's a calendar. Calendar is dealing with archives. So if you pick a date, it will show you the posts for that date. You can look at categories. Gives you some information on commenting, and there are more blogs, or links to more blogs, and all this stuff can be added in. They've brought in code from the blog tracker ring, so that so we can actually get stuff from the outside can be added in. Okay, and then there are more RSS links to stuff down there. Okay. They have they have a chat page, which I don't know if anybody's looking at it right now. Right, which they set up to. There you go, and you get an entire array. Oops, you get an entire array of smiley faces. There are different. The chat actually needs to be set up on a page that doesn't have this sidebar, and it actually takes a little bit of extra theme. I know how to do that. I need to straighten that out. Okay. So they've done a lot of stuff. Have you done any polls, Sue?
Yeah, there's a few kind of goofy things there.
Okay,
you can look
right.
at.
Yeah, so there's polls here, and so you can. I mean, it's like a basic polling software. You can put it'll, you can get it to turn on this sidebar. You can highlight it on the home page and stuff. So you can do little polls with it. There's also, for podcasting blogs, we're the home of Law Librarian Conversations. And so they now run their podcasting from here. So that all runs through here. So this is their thing. You can see, you can get. I don't want to click on this because this will launch iTunes, and that just slows everybody down. But you can get it on iTunes. You can get the previous episodes, so that you can actually they actually have a little player here, so you can actually play them from here.
Podcast about all things library and of interest to law librarians, hosted by Richard Leiter of the University of Nebraska College of Law.
So you can play them right from there.
Conversations is possible through generous production support from our good friends at CALI.
So you can actually play the episodes from here, and then each episode has a page also, and they use chat for during the podcast. They do the podcast live. So this is one that was put together by the folks at Elon. The thing about it is that one of the things that they've done, they don't have it. They had a nice instance of a calendar that they were using for assignments. This one's not, they're not really doing a calendar thing. They had a really nice, they were using the calendar feature to actually set stuff up. This is what the forum looks like, so that you can, you can have discussions in here. And then there's the event calendar. I don't know if anybody else is using it. Let's check. But there's a nice the calendar plugin actually lets you do a nice but the calendar one lets you gives you this calendar page, and you can color code them and have and like you can post assignments and stuff there. There's the this blog. This is using the comment press stuff that I talked about. And what that lets you do is you can actually you can actually comment at the paragraph level. So I can actually go here and I can click on that and I can leave a comment. There are a couple of things about commenting that are actually worth noting. First of all, it knows who you are if you're logged in. Second of all, did we use reCAPTCHA so that you have to fill out one of these funny little things, which is really impossible to read here, in there to leave a comment. So all this really helps cut down or almost eliminate spam. Some people are dedicated. They're getting paid to spam logs by hand. So they'll sit there and type in all the stuff and still post spam, but those they're pretty rare these days. So, but all commenting actually works that way.
Is it easy to remove comments?
It is. If you're the owner of the blog, you can just go in and click the delete button, and you can actually mark the comment as spam, and then it'll in the little engine that runs inside, it'll if somebody comes in from like that IP address again or uses that username, it'll block it as spam and it'll send you a note.
Do you have it set up so people can set comments to approval only?
Yes. Yeah. So right, that's one of the things that you can do that. The other thing is that anything that gets blocked here or is flagged by spam by the system as spam gets held, and you get a notice saying you need to moderate comments. So you can then go in and take a look at it, because sometimes people don't deal with this well for various reasons, but they're still legitimate, or sometimes Comcast thinks CALI's a fount of spam and blocks our domains, and so strange stuff happens. So stuff gets set off in a different direction. But what this allows you to do is you can comment on specific things. We'll see somewhere there's actually there is a paragraph with a comment. Paragraph 14 already has a comment. So if we're actually looking at it, as you can scroll down, you can see this one has a plus. This one actually has a 1. So there's a comment on this paragraph. Okay. Now, this is like actually one of sort of the more advanced but kind of neat features. I mean, there's probably a lot you can do with that sort of stuff. But you are limited in sort of form and stuff, because this is the only theme that we have that supports this sort of stuff. So. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Comments? Concerns? Cool. Everybody tired? Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank
You're welcome.
Are you all done? Yeah, I just finished. I could come up. Should I just come out to the door then? To the, like, outside to the door, or are you in the exhibits? Okay, all right, I'll be out.
I mean, it's like dark.
Bye.
I can tell you. You can still see the sun in between. That's true. But I gotta tell you, it's nice to see the sun. More often, yeah. So it'll be nice. So we're
I got to go to the word camp in Chicago.
That's the
It was really fun. It was, $30 for us developers in there. Talking about different things.
Well, that sounds
Yeah.
Essentially, when I first did Classcaster, I actually did the part we dial into the telephone and post it. I actually prototyped the Wordpress. But at that time, the Wordpress multi-user stuff was like really scary because it was like pre-alpha, sort of like code you think might work, and it didn't. And so I couldn't use it. But now I finally got back around to like upgrade it. Now it's like all ready for me.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
You just have to be patient sometimes.
Yeah, so I just wait for them to catch up. See you later.
They were going to give me all of the vision.
Oh, okay.
Of course, in business, probably all the commercial word and business associations. I didn't think they were going to give me. But I love teaching. So what's the way they would step aside?
Whoa, that was cool.
Then everybody is, so maybe they're looking to do something like that.
There you go. Thank you very much.
So that works out. Well, when do you go? We're going to go to our lecture meeting now.
So you finish with yourself with blue. You're gonna need it. It's already hectic. I mean,
I've already pretty much packed up all the house. Yeah.
Oh God, you're good.
I'm tired. I need to go to the Adirondack to lay down for a bit, and then I'll fly back.
Get one of those big Adirondack chairs in this room.
We have a bunch of those up there. And then I'll just fly back. I won't take the children back. I'll leave them with grandma and grandma for a weekend, and I'll go back for a long weekend and take them.
Now, who's moving you? Was the school paying any of
They do some of it, but they're coming in over budget. It's kind of crazy because we're using ABSU tax. So we're basically, they deliver the trailer, people will load the truck. But if I went to like Mayflower, where they provide the labor and the truck, it costs almost twice as much. And I'm just saying, I'm not going to look myself or anything like that, although I guess you could. But, we've divested students are so possible. We've divested all kinds of careers, they just
128. It's a good thing, I will tell you, we came down from Boston, at that time Dave and I were living in Maryland, he had a condo and I had a house. So I know, and of course, the opportunity at UCF came up very suddenly, so I moved to Jacksonville. So we've always wanted to move to a warmer climate, Boston is a little winter. And so we said, okay, we'll do it. I mean, it was like, my family was like shocked. Like, I made a decision quickly, it's not my style. And I'm like, boom, 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 and go, we didn't have time for good stuff. So when the movers moved it down, they said, you're going to fit all that in that house? Well, we fit a lot of it in, but then we realized they were just, so we gave reams away like to Habitat and stuff like that. It was like, we did it again to Jacksonville.
Goodwill is my brand.
Yeah.
They love me there. They see me coming.
Well, you know, Dave had things like big tools and stuff like that. He was a big putterer. I said, Dave, there's no way we're gonna, have that kind of space down.
My rule was that even with furniture, if I don't love it, it's not coming.
Yeah. I wish I had left it. I had a bunch of antique stuff, which was not fancy antiques, but stuff I just collected through the years. I wish I left them because I thought I didn't know the fact because we were so fast. That's what I didn't know that because we had never been in a foreign home. So I said, well, what if we get like a Spanish style house? And we could, well, that was totally crazy.
I had like 100-year-old beautiful antique vanity with the original mirror and all the little drawers and stuff. What's going to roll me that?
I know.
So it's gone.
That's the same thing we did. I said that I left it with my girlfriend.
I do have an antique sewing table because I sew. And so I have an
Oh,
antique
that's
sewing
sweet.
table that I put my machine on. I'll keep that. I'm keeping that. And I have an antique writing desk,
Okay.
which I'll keep. But that's
It's
everything
still
else is
good.
gone. Like even with my boys, they had a bunk beds. I didn't really like it. I wanted to get them new set of bunk beds. And so it's gone.
Yeah.
Any kind of old stuff that you just have and you just can't get rid of, you've gone. It either went to charity, it went to Craigslist, and gone.
It's in some ways, it's very, I remember when we left Boston, we didn't own a home here. And we had sold a ton of things. And all of our stuff, the rest was left, was in storage. And I said to Dave, oh, I had like one key for my car. But all my other keys were gone. The school keys were gone, house keys were gone, garage keys were gone. It's been 6 years since
My husband Tom
2004.
is a Boston native. He's from Wayland.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Wayland and raised in Wayland.
Wow. Oh, no, I grew up there. Dave actually grew up in Colorado, but he was in Boston for 20 years in the high-tech industry.
Well, Tom works for State Street Bank.
Right, and my brother-in-law worked for State Street. I mean, State Street's just a huge employer in Massachusetts.
Well, he's a vice president and does project
What's his,
management.
okay, so, and honestly, project management skills, they're in such demand still.
Yeah,
They transfer.
He's talked to some of the head of each other, but he just hasn't really had the time to do a big push. It's very hard to do from away.
There's no need
He
to do a
said,
big
he said,
push.
well, he said the one guy had called him about a job, but he's like, well, you need to start in like 2 weeks, and it's just
He's not
no. He's got to wait till he's down there, and then if he decides he wants to change, he can. And if he doesn't want to, he said with State Street, he can always go to Boston for meetings if he needs to. So
I think, personally, I know that when we were looking, originally, we looked for 2 years, I did, because my job's hard to get. My husband's confused, he can go anywhere pretty much. And so,
well, Tom's far more flexible than me.
yeah, that's the same thing. So my husband knows that, if we were going to do this, it'd probably be me who'd have to get the job first. So we didn't know that it was going to happen. Then we thought about when we rolled on the business for a while. We went through a bunch of different things. And then UCF called really at the last minute. I was 4th on the list of people. The first 3 cracked out in the interview process. Mm-hmm. So they called me 3 weeks before school started. And we were like, blah. It was crazy. I know, exactly. And then from there, it was easy to get a job law school because I was in the state. Because when I was applying for my state, we found this to be true. People oftentimes don't move. They come visit, and their family ends up pushing them to say, oh, no, stay where we are, blah, blah, blah. So once it was in Florida, it's much easier to get positions in Florida.
But it worked out really well. Lenore Budwin was on the St. Thomas faculty. She's a big fan of my CALI work. And so when she saw my I sent them a resume.